Hello, YouTube. It's me, John Avenger, once again, and welcome to another sequel and prequel month. This is a sequel. This is the third installment in a superhero franchise. And no, this is not Civil War because I already reviewed it. This is the third in the Nolan Batman trilogy that came out in 2012. It got a very mixed reaction. Some people loved it. Some people hated it. Believe me, I know. I've seen some rants on YouTube, but fuck the haters. I don't hate this movie. It does have its issues, and I'm going to address them as long as I'm in front of a camera. I'm willing to talk, and that is the Dark Knight Rises. This is the Steelbook, the awesome Steelbook that came out in 2012 with all the discs. There's the Blu-ray, the DVD, and the special edition special features. I'm trying to get the disc out. I don't want to scratch it. That artwork is pretty awesome. This with Bane and Batman's mask. And I think this is the rain. Yeah, it's just the rain. There's no picture of Catwoman. She was on the back when we got this on Blu-ray. But I enjoy this movie. Yes, it's highly flawed, but I think the film is a great way to end the franchise on a high note. I know a lot of people were expecting something better than The Dark Knight. That was a hard act to follow. Heath Ledger's performance was overshadowed this movie by a landslide because that was once in a lifetime. We didn't see it again. Here we had Bane. Tom Hardy as Bane. In a way he worked and in a way he didn't. In the beginning of the film he worked. Yes, his voice is extremely laughable. When I heard and it's a shorter man. I was laughing my ass off. I'm like, yeah, he sounds like Sean Connery. I get it. People couldn't take that seriously, but Nolan, hey, the sound people did that voice. It's not like Nolan did the voice for him. And yeah, he's kind of scrawny or whatever, because Tom Hardy's not very big. He's not like Brock Lesnar. I think he would have been a perfect Bane because he's got the physique for it. But Bane worked as a villain for most of the film, for about 2/3 of the film, because he was killing people, he was threatening, but when he didn't talk, and he beats the shit out of Batman in that fight, which is, yeah, it's one sided, but hey, Bane is stronger than him, and he breaks his back, which is from the comics, so I appreciate that scene. The ending, though, in the third act, when he gets overshadowed by a freaking, Ra's al Ghul's daughter, I think it's Talia, or is it Nisa al Ghul? Yeah, I think it's Talia. She's horrible. Like I thought, I was like, yeah, she's not a villain. She's not threatening at all. Marion Cotillard. That's how I say her name. I don't speak French, so fuck it. Marion Cotillard was not needed in the film. That's one of three major flaws I have with this film. One, there are way too many characters in this movie. Way too many. You already had some of the returning cast from the first two films. You had Christian Bale. You had Morgan Freeman. You had Michael Caine. You had freaking Gary Oldman. You didn't need anybody else like besides that. Rachel died in the second one. That's why she's not here. But you didn't need Patrick Muldoon. He was just a filler character chasing Batman when he first sees him. You don't need Talia al Ghul. Oh, she's to connect this with the first film. You didn't need her. She's not threatening. It's a beautiful woman, but she wasn't needed in the film. She's just a forced love interest in this movie for Bruce. And also, there's another cameo from Scarecrow. It's a funny scene, but really, it could have been a deleted scene for me. Now, the one new addition I thought was awesome that people give a lot of shit for is Anne Hathaway as Catwoman. She's freaking awesome. Did she top Michelle Pfeiffer or Julie Newmar? No, not even close. But she was better than Halle Berry by a landslide because she was taken seriously, and she was better than Lee Merriweather in the 1966 movie because she was actually Selena Kyle. She wasn't a freaking some Russian chick. But that's a plus with the movie. The movie looks great. Nolan knows how to shoot a freaking movie. It's the cinematography is amazing. I think it's beautiful. People don't say enough of that about that. I think the music is still great. The production is very well done. The special effects are really good for the most part. People say, oh, the bat looks like shit. Ugh. And you know who you are, glasses wearing douche nozzle. Yeah, I'm gonna rep on that guy because just that rant was one of the most painful things I sat through on YouTube. Everybody can have an opinion, but calling a movie a piece of shit because you live in a freaking trailer trash, yeah, that's not cool for me. But anyway, the film has problems. I'm gonna acknowledge that. This movie is way too long. I'm sorry. I know it's a third installment, but this isn't Lord of the Rings. You don't have to stretch out the running time to 20 minutes. There's another film that came out that's a third installment that's long, but it's not too long. Yeah, this movie is not short. It's 2 hours and 27 minutes, but it's 13 minutes. It's more than 13 minutes shorter than this movie. You can make a long movie. This was a long movie, and it crammed a lot into there. And there's a lot of characters, but it didn't have to pad out the running time. That's what I will not defend here. 2 hours and 45 minutes is way too long, Nolan. It's way too long. You're not. This is not a biblical movie that you can stretch out to 3 hours. It's a Batman movie. Make it shorter, please. Why is it that every time Batman's in a movie, it's almost like 3 hours? Even BVS, the original cut, 2.5 hours. And I think it could have been a lot shorter. You could have cut all the stuff with Lex Luthor Jr. You could have cut a lot of the stuff, a lot of the flashbacks with Superman. You didn't need that. You needed more Batman because, Ben Affleck was great in that. Here, you don't see Batman for almost an hour into the film. And a lot of people had a problem with that. That's because of the pacing. It's too long. The movie takes way too long to get going after the airplane scene, which was fine. It didn't top this airport scene, but it was fine. Bane crashes the plane, he gets out, and said no survivors and all that, and then he gets out, and then the movie starts. But it just takes way too long to get going. Second, like I said, too many characters. Joseph Gordon-Levitt is fine in the film as Robin. He plays a cop. He does a good job, but you don't need Patrick Muldoon and you didn't need to freaking Marion Cotillard. Cut them out. They made the movie too long. And then third of all, the ending. Not the ending with the bomb that Batman, takes the bat, he flies the bat off with the bomb and then gets it out of the city. That didn't bother me. But having Bane look like a pussy, like the fact that Mary Cotillard, Talia al Ghul takes over the film and becomes a villain, and then she dies like this. My father's work is done, and then can't even Batman can't even stop Bane. Catwoman shoots him, blasts him, and then that's it. Are you freaking kidding me? How anticlimactic was that for Bane? One of the biggest dudes in the Batman universe. I will say this: Bane is treated a lot better here than Jared Leto's Joker because he has more screen time and he does more, and he has some presence to him. Even though Hardy is not the best choice when it comes to Bane because he's no Brock Lesnar, but he did more. The football scene where he blows up the football field. At least he's doing stuff and he stays active. Leto's Joker, he's in the movie for 5 minutes and does nothing. At least this was not as disappointing as that. I can see this movie. Looks great. It has a great cast for the most part. I thought Anne Hathaway was a great Catwoman. She did a good job. Oh, she had goggles. Well, it was different. Nolan didn't want to copy the Batman Returns Catwoman or that horrible Catwoman they got in 2004. She looks sexy. I know a lot of people had a problem with her. She looks great in the cat suit. Even when the scene that she's in the bar talking to this guy and then she starts screaming, I was laughing my ass off. People say there's no comedy in this movie. I laughed every time Bane talked. I laughed when Catwoman, when Selena Kyle goes she's scared. That cracked me up in the theater. The scene with Scarecrow, not necessary, but he did make me laugh a couple of times. And also the scene that Batman's beating the shit out of Bane when the snowing. That's awesome. And then he's punching him, and he's like, "Where's the trigger?" I was on the floor laughing. I could not believe how funny that was. Like he cuts Bane's tubes that are in on his mask, and he's like, "Where's the trigger? Where is it?" I was laughing. That's funny. I don't care who you are. If you've seen this movie and seen that scene, you probably laughed your ass off too. There was nothing laughable in this movie, but this is not a compare and contrast because both movies are competent. They're not like horrendous. Like people say this movie's horrendous. Of course, this is better because it's shorter, and it made me feel like a kid again. But this movie is good. It is good. It ended the franchise fine. It has a happy ending. At least it's not a downbeat ending. I will say also another negative is Michael Caine is underused, especially near the end. Like there, halfway through, he kind of disappears and he shows up at the end. But the ending where he looks at Bruce and he's like, in Paris, him and Selena get together. Awesome. The romance didn't bother me. When she first kisses him, oh, it's a ripoff of Batman Returns. They've done it 3 times. Batman Returns, this movie, and in the Gotham TV show, which I do enjoy. Fuck the haters. They're always going to give DC a hard time. This was the last movie that made $1 billion for them. And I'd rather see this for almost 3 hours than Man of Steel because that bored me to tears. At least this movie's not boring. A lot of people say it is. It's a crime drama. It is not an action movie. You have to look at it through the perspective of a crime drama, like the movie Heat or Reservoir Dogs if it was an hour longer. It's a crime drama, not an action movie. That's what I was expecting, and I did enjoy myself in the theater. I clapped at the end. I thought it was very entertaining. It is highly flawed. Nolan, you could have cut 20 minutes of this movie out. Put more Batman in the movie. You don't need any flashbacks, so you don't have to show Two Face. We get it. Harvey Dent was an important character in The Dark Knight. I get why they couldn't reference the Joker in this movie because the Heath Ledger family didn't want anything to do with this film. And I know what happened in the theater in Aurora. I get it. Okay, this franchise was had a dark cloud since day one, since Batman Begins. Ledger died in before the Dark Knight came out, and then innocent people got killed because this dumbass went into the theater to scare them. And I'm like, fuck that guy. I hope he got the electric chair. It's not the movie's fault, though. I'm not gonna blame that because BVS, nothing like that happened. It's a violent world we live in, and this movie proves it. Bane does terrorism in Gotham, blowing up bridges and blowing up a freaking football field. It's a very, it's a very, like violent world that they're portraying in this film. That is definitely realistic right there. And people say it's not fun because it's soulless, it's too long, it's boring, there's nothing, it's a piece of shit. It's not a piece of shit. It's flawed. Every movie is. This movie's flawed. The villain sucks. At least this movie has a villain. This has Zemo. No mask, no nothing, not intimidating at the slightest. But this, at least Bane does stuff. At least he's active in the movie. I'd rather a villain be active than do nothing and sit on his ass and talk. But anyway, I do enjoy The Dark Knight Rises. Don't get me wrong. It is a good movie. It's flawed, though. It's not perfect. A lot of people were expecting more out of this. Some people were like, this movie's going to suck. It came out the same year as The Avengers. 2 months after The Avengers, this came out. There was no way it was going to be better than that. That movie is a masterpiece. That movie was light in tone. It was jokey. It was fun. And the last 30 minutes beat the heck crap out of this because, it's Marvel. They know what they're doing. With DC, they still have some kinks in the armor that they have to fix after this. You can't just depend on Nolan's trilogy because even though this is a good Batman film, it's not the best one. I still think the 89 film is better. Batman Returns, I think, is better. Even the Dark Knight Returns, parts 1 and 2, are better. But it's good, though. I'm not going to say it's shit. Some people did. Glasses wearing douchebags on YouTube. I'm not going to say names because I know he'll come after me. I know some people how hostile I am, but hey, I am a controversial figure on YouTube. Sorry, I have over 90,000 views since 2013. I think that I get people talking, will like it or not. But as a comic book movie, does it work? Yes. Is it flawed? Yes. Are there plot holes? Oh, yes. Bruce he gets his back broken. He's in a hole, and then he finds a chiropractor there. He puts his back in place, and he gets back to Gotham without flying in a plane or a helicopter or a bat. Yeah, but it's still entertaining to watch. This isn't a documentary, people. It's a movie. Get over it. It's just a movie. Go into a movie knowing that none of this is real. Oh, it's realistic. It's realism. So was Daredevil. Daredevil wasn't a comedy, and so is Blade. Blade is dark, and it's still not a comedy. It can be grounded, and I don't understand it. I don't understand. The hate it got was just too overwhelming. Was it going to be better than The Dark Knight? Of course not. I mean, some people have preferred this over The Dark Knight because it ended things, and Dark Knight kind of was like a middle chapter. I get it, but we need to live in a world where we can coexist. We can love both Marvel and DC. I do. Okay, I love this movie, and I also enjoy this for what it is. But it does have flaws. That's something that I can never, uh, you know, hide. It does have flaws, but it's not horrible. This is not Catwoman. This is not Elektra. This is not freaking Fan Four Stick. That had a ton of problems, and at least this movie had no studio interference like Suicide Squad. I'd rather see this. I'd rather. Even though it's long and sometimes, there's some scenes that don't belong there, but I'd rather see this. At least it didn't tease me. I can say that. But that's my review of The Dark Knight Rises. It's a very long movie. It has its flaws, but it does have entertainment value. The scene at the end where you see Batman's symbol on fire, awesome. A nod to the Crow. And that's another movie where people, someone lost his life doing it, and that I still enjoy the film despite that. But anyway, I like The Dark Knight Rises. Don't bite my head off. Nolan Knights and also Marvel fans, do not bite my head off. I said this movie was better. I did. I saw this in the theater this year, and I loved every second of it. And I didn't feel it was too long. This I felt was a little bit too long for a third installment, but it has entertainment value for me. Anyway, that's my review of it. I hope you guys take it into consideration. I hope you guys give it a chance. Don't say, oh, it was overhyped and it sucks now. Give it a chance. If you've seen Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, it's not going to kill you to watch it at least once. One view will at least do you some good. And it's better than what we're going to get next year. No matter, I hope Justice League and Wonder Woman are good. But if the studio interfered again, it's going to be a nightmare. But at least we have Nolan's trilogy. Good films, but they're not the greatest of all time. They're good. They are. Well made. Great production value. Really good cast. Great cinematography, a good score, and Nolan knows how to work the camera. But there's flaws, like everything in life. But anyway, thanks for watching, liking, subscribing, commenting. I hope you guys have your thoughts on this movie. I do like the film. Don't get me wrong. Wouldn't have bought it on Blu-ray for my sister for nothing. I can watch it. And it's a third installment that's not the worst. It's not like X-Men The Last Stand where they kill everybody. It's not that, at least. Anyway, thanks for watching and take care, and I'll see you in the next prequel review here on YouTube. See you later.